I found life to be a little harder than I expected.
Hi, this is Inner Journey, and I'm your host, Greg Friedman. Sex, relationships, dream interpretation, and personal growth. We help by taking the wisdom of indigenous elders and making it work for you here and now. I'm a modern version of that which has existed in every culture. A guide, a life coach, a mentor. I've studied and done ceremony with Peruvian shaman, Aborigine elders, and elders from various Native American tribes, including the Yaqui and the Abenaki. The success of this show relies completely on you, the listener, whether you're just listening in or whether you're calling in or whether you have problems or questions or things that we can help you out with. If you're calling in, all it takes is the courage to make the phone call. You don't even have to give us your real name. We don't care. You just call in to 949-715-KXFM. That's 949-715-5936. All right, so you call in. I offer up advice. Well, why? Why should you do what I suggest? Well, the truth is, you shouldn't. All I ask is that you try it on. If it fits, groovy. And if it doesn't, you throw it back up on the shelf. It ain't no thing. Again, 949-715-5936. You call in. We do our darndest. And if it works for you, that's great. And if it doesn't, who cares? It ain't a big deal. If there is one word that I could use to describe our guest this evening, after having done a lot of research on her and looking all over the place, that word would be integrity. She has pursued life and the healing arts with a fervor that's so rare. And she approaches her whole life with this kind of fervor and joy, and it's just so cool. And she expresses it in things such as music, Reiki, hypnotherapy, EFT, crystal healing, Jeet Kune Do, and all of them with such an intensity, integrity that only allows for her own personal growth so that she may share her wisdom with others. Victoria Vivas, welcome to Inner Journey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here, and hi, everyone listening. Thank you so much for connecting with us.
Inevitably, or more often than not, I ask this question right off the bat because I've had a number of healers on this show, people of service, people, shaman, medicine men, all kinds of different teachers in all, whether they're musicians or whether they're a medicine man on top of a mountain. I have found a common through line. There was almost always one kind of catalytic event that took them from where they were meandering, wandering, and set them on their path. Do you find that to be true in your life as well?
Absolutely. And I think all of us, to a degree, we have these catalyst events in our lives that take us deeper and deeper in our spiritual journey. For me, it started with many, many situations throughout my childhood in which I found life to be a little harder than I expected. And so I always had a great sense of helping other people. How can I make people a little more happy than they are? And then I got a little bit out of track. So, yes, because I was deeply in entertainment and in, television, all of that. And really, I didn't have a space to reflect, to have my inner wisdom show up. So at that time, I got deeper and deeper into darkness.
What does that mean to you?
That means, we are all part of the web of light, but sometimes we don't realize about it. So we start focusing only on our outside, and that beautiful light starts fading away. So we may start looking for our power in things that are not this powerful source. We start looking into maybe material things, more fame, more money, more prestige.
And was that the case with you?
Well, basically, I had no time for myself. The situation was I had a lot of childhood wounds that I wasn't aware of. I just it was getting up, going to rehearsal, going to television, the day after the same, every single day that, without rest, sometimes even not sleeping very much. And because of my childhood traumas, I would also surround myself by not the best people. So
what do you mean by that exactly?
well, just people in drugs, people with guns, people with knives, just not the best kind of company. Even though I had always in my heart that I would be the angel that will help these people change their mind. So being surrounded by that environment, there was a point that I found myself pretty lost from that light. And even I would look in the mirror, see myself, and that light that I had in my eyes had disappeared. This really was very scary to me. I thought I had no way to come back to my light.
So even then you could recognize the distinction between the light there and the light
Yes.
faded or gone?
Absolutely. And I have pictures, and I was so scared when I saw that because I didn't know if I can get back to have that light and that happiness. So I continued in this not such a good path, and at a moment I had a near-death experience. So
You would be shocked how many healers have had near-death experiences. It's unbelievable how many. So what was yours?
well, from my perspective now, after the years, what I realized is that it was help coming to take me back on my path. So this was an accident under the water. I was diving and I drowned. In some shamanic traditions in Africa, it is said that the water spirits are the pacifiers. So sometimes somebody would disappear in the waters to train themselves to become peacemakers. So my experience was that part of my soul was taken into these waters to be trained as a peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
So for years I lived without that part of myself, and I was just transforming my life, opening to new things.
So wait. You sort of
Yes.
skipped over the whole I drowned thing.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, the fact of drowning brought a lot of clarity to my life.
Well, what does that mean to you? I drowned. You passed away for a time?
I mean,
love how you guys may not have heard that. It was very just casual. Oh yeah, that thing.
oh my goodness.
That whole thing.
Okay, so here is what happened. I was diving. I really didn't want to dive. At that time, I just didn't want to be alive at all. So I almost get that wish. So what happened is all my friends, okay, come on, we should all go. Come on, come with us. And I didn't really want to dive. So they got me into the water, and my equipment was not correct. It didn't work right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tried to breathe the oxygen, I would breathe water. And my equipment wouldn't let me go to the surface. So I was pulled down because of the chains I had in my wrist.
Your weight belt.
In my waist.
Right.
So it was impossible. But at that moment I said, today I was saying I don't want to be alive. I realize now I do want to be alive. Really, really, I changed my mind. I really want to be alive. So I put all my energy in, okay, I have to reach the coast. I have to reach those rocks, and I'm going to do it. And at that moment I passed. However, they told me that I reached the rocks. I went up to the rocks. And when I was on the top, I just fell down into the water. And the next thing I remember is seeing myself drowning in the water. Everything changed from stress and anxiety into peace, into feeling that I'm one with everything. Nothing really matters. Everything is fine. I'm seeing everything. Everything is fine. So that was my next memory. After that, they took me out of the water. I wasn't aware. However, I started coming back into awareness. So I kind of saw reality, but not really. So in order to know if that was truly there or if I was imagining it, I actually beaten the face of the person that was carrying me.
Lovely.
Lovely, isn't it? Oh my goodness. At that time I was very wild, as you can see. So I beaten his face. And I noticed, okay, something here is real. Sorry for that guy. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so then they took me to the beach, to the sun. And at that moment, the first thing I remember is sound. I was hearing who was my boyfriend at that time saying my name, which at that time I changed for television. So my name at that time was Anouk. So he was calling me, Anouk, Anouk, and that's the first thing I remember. And my energy going at a speed it was so really overwhelming and so tiring. It was like in a spiral, going faster and faster and faster, and I didn't know if I was going towards becoming totally crazy and insane, or going towards death, or if I was going the other way, meaning life.
Is there
and
a difference
sanity.
between those three things?
At that moment, I felt it was. Imagine that you're running in a labyrinth, and you don't know where you're going. So that was the feeling. It was so tiring and exhausting. And finally, I heard the voice of my ex-boyfriend. I started seeing things, and I said, okay, I'm back. I was totally exhausted, but I had a new appreciation for life, for being able to play in this game of physical reality. And just the fact of biting an apple, it was like, oh my goodness, this is such a gift. This is so precious. So
that's beautiful.
That's
absolutely beautiful. I recently heard that if you ask the universe for something like health or wisdom or love, it's not going to just go, here it is. What it's going to do instead is provide you the opportunity to have it. And then it's up to you. And it seems like you were really being provided the opportunity to be that light that you wanted to be, or that you always felt or knew you were.
Yes.
And then after that, what shifted?
Well, a lot of things. First of all, having the awareness that even though, I always live in this physical focus, physical perspective, I saw something else, right? I saw myself out of my body. So that gives a new perspective in my life.
Yeah.
So that was one. However, I continued with the bad companies for a while. So I didn't focus so much, even though I was opening to healing and understand my psychological traumas. I still wasn't completely ready. And what happened is I think it was exactly a year ago in June 1998. I had
a year later from that event.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, a year later from the near-death experience, I actually had a Kundalini Awakening and my third eye opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to that, I'd like that really well explained for people. But first of all, do me a favor, if you would, and we'll come back to Kundalini Opening, absolutely.
Yeah.
List some of the things that you do right now as a matter of practice, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Do you mean what I do as for work or for myself? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for me, life is my practice. Everything that I do, I always look the depth of what is bringing to my life, how I'm affecting the whole, and our interaction with one another. So for me, everything is my practice. I feel that we can always be open to listen to our environment, what nature is telling us, what other people is telling us. So everything is an opportunity for growth, for practicing reflection and presence.
Absolutely. And what are some of the manners that you express that and that you help others express that?
I love healing, energy healing. So I feel that a very fun way to share with others the possibilities that we have is to teach energy healing, because sometimes people may come to me thinking, oh, she has a gift for healing, but I don't think that. I believe that we all have that gift. Mm-hmm. And if I can encourage somebody to really go within and find that gift within themselves, that's empowering. I don't want people depending on me for that healing. I want people to discover the magic of life and enjoying it every day and share it with as many people as possible.
I love that. And if people want to find out more about you, how would they go about doing that?
My main website for classes is reikiwellbeing.org.
That's reikiwellbeing.org. and Reiki is spelled R-E-I-K-I.
Exactly.
We have the phone banks lit up, so how would you feel about just jumping into a phone call?
Oh, happy to talk with someone.
Excellent. We have Michelle calling in from Illinois. Michelle, welcome to Inner Journey.
Oh, hi. How are you?
We are phenomenal. How about yourself?
Thank you. Wonderful.
Do you have a question or a comment for Victoria?
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the phone call. It was really interesting hearing what you had to say, and I actually kind of got introduced to this phone call from somebody else. So I'm not sure if I have the right question for you. So
ask whatever you want to ask.
Go at it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I believe in. I think that having a positive attitude actually helps a lot to manifest the things that kind of come about in your life. And obviously, you going through the experience that you went through is that you are obviously extremely grateful. So things keep showing up for you. And I'm kind of going through that myself, not the death experience, but other things to manifest the actual things that are going to happen for me or I want to have happen for me. And I do try to write things down or whatever to kind of manifest it in a way that I'm sending it off to the universe, if you want to say, or God. And I do use prayer every day. So do you believe that when you put something in that type of format, that is the way to kind of go about having something to come to fruition, if you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, Victoria, you answer first, and then I'll jump in with mine as well.
Sounds good. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for calling and for asking your question. And, I love everything about manifestation. I worked a lot with that. I think it's a lot of fun because we are creative beings. So to be aware of that and that you are working with that is amazing. And I'm really happy for you. So yes, I feel that it is very possible to manifest things in our lives thanks to that positive focus. And something that I realized is that it's very important to really be aware of the feelings that you would like to have once you have accomplished it. So it is not so much about the thing itself, but about the essence of that thing. Meaning, perhaps you're looking for something, but maybe later you have it and it is not feeling as you want it. So that's why I always recommend to focus on how would you like to feel when you have that? What is the essence that makes you excited about it? And you can write those things in a piece of paper and then...
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so you can write that on a piece of paper and then pursue each of them in different ways. Meaning, instead to say, okay, the universe only has this little door to give me what I want, you say, which other ways can I find in which I find this thing that I want? So let's say that you want, an ice cream, a vanilla ice cream. And you say, why I want this ice cream? Well, when I eat it, I feel refreshed and I feel this nourishing flavor. So how else can I find refreshment? Is there other things that I can find that give me this? How can I find nourishment? What else can it give me? What else can give me this? And just see all the different windows that you have available for you that are right there, that you have right there. So instead to wait for that one thing, you start nurturing yourself with what you have within your reach. So that's one thing. And then
so is that also like, I do... I've been doing something called an unexpected income prayer. Mm-hmm. I'm on a program call, and it's actually awesome. But, one of the things that kind of, and I believe in it, believe me, and it's not like just saying I am prosperous. It's like I am prosperous and share, and actually visualizing, me shopping or, something showing up. Yes. So, for example, like finding a dime on the ground, that's unexpected income.
Nice, yes.
So something else showing up that visualizes, in essence, the beginning of, something they're trying to accomplish. But you're saying that you should be kind of writing down not only you're getting it, but how it makes you feel and what you're actually kind of getting from it. Is that what you're saying?
It's almost what she's talking about, if I may, Victoria, is that it's not about the thing or the person. It's about what are you really manifesting in your essence? For example, it's not about having a man in your life. It's about having love in your life. And what's love?
Absolutely.
You know,
right.
And because there's plenty of men to be had in your life if you wanted that. But
Absolutely.
But if you're just going to manifest a man, it's not necessarily manifesting love. And what's that feeling? And then recognizing, wait, I already have that feeling. So if I already am that planet that has that own magnetic sphere, then I'm going to attract who I am. I'm going to send out and receive the reflection of who I am. So I am love, so I'm going to receive love.
Got it.
Is that fair enough?
Yes,
Oh,
I love
absolutely.
that. And I feel that it's just becoming a match for that frequency so that we can start channeling that energy, that certain frequency. So another thing that can help also is to see any limiting blocks that we may have, because sometimes it's not just about creating, but really about erasing some maybe old programming patterns. So see if you have at any time some resistance. See if sometimes you are feeling like, oh, I don't deserve it, or something like that. And then explore that and do your best to erase it.
Well,
yes.
And again, I agree, and I have a slightly different vision of it, which is there's a place over here called San Pedro. And you could sit on the cliffs of San Pedro and look out on the ocean, and you could see this little island of Catalina in the distance, and you could, at different times of the year, see whales jumping out, and you could see dolphins going by. I'm not exaggerating. You could literally do that. Or you could look behind you and see the oil refineries and the oil rigs. So I bring that up because it's not about necessarily eliminating anything. It is.
Oh, that's true.
So instead, it's making a choice. Where do we want to put our energy? Where do we want our life force to go? Because we could focus on all the negative or all the or all the, the smelly things in the world, or we could take in the beauty that's also available.
Yes, I do agree. I feel that
I agree.
Integrating all parts of us is what really is become into this oneness, this wholeness. So we really need to be okay with everything and then decide where we're going to put our energy, our focus. So, yes, so more than anything is that I feel that sometimes certain aspects in ourselves are magnetized and we are really, really attracting things from that perspective. So if we are able to bring them to the middle point so that they are neutral.
Michelle, can you do the dishes for me when you're done at home?
Can you tell that I'm putting away my dishes?
Oh, yes, we hear your dishes.
Sorry. I was also closing a door, too.
It's all right. It's quite all right.
So, yeah, once you get to neutralize the energies that you are not so excited about and start opening doors for the things that you really, really want, you will notice also more advancement.
And the reason I brought up the different perspective is because I believe that there's no part of us that's bad. So we don't want to beat anything down or beat it into submission or try to kill it off because then we're just feeding the demon. Instead, it's all energy. So if we're all energy, all we have to do is make a choice of how to employ this energy so it's to our benefit.
Yes.
Michelle, really great question, and I'm really glad you called in. Thank you very much for calling into Inner Journey.
This is awesome. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'll tell you what we're going to do, because we are tight on time. We're going to go to a song, and we'll be back with more Inner Journey with Greg Friedman and Victoria Vivas right after this wonderful song.
Oh, isn't it a wonderful life it is?
Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman on KX 93.5 FM, also on @onelaguna.com and co-creatorradionetwork.com. Tonight, we are here with a truly lovely soul. We're here tonight with Victoria Vivas. Victoria, welcome back. And please, because I'm almost sure that people knows there's an accent that you speak with. Where are you from? And tell us a little bit about that for a second, if you would.
Oh, you got my accent. I can't believe it. I was trying.
I know, it's so subtle.
Okay, so I'm from Madrid, Spain. Yes. And I really worked on trying to not have an accent, but oh my goodness, it's just not living.
Why would you do that?
The acting, I was
okay.
working in Hollywood and all of that, so trying to not have an accent.
Tell us about that song we just heard, if you would.
Oh my goodness, you chose a very special song. Actually, that song came one day that I was driving here to Laguna Beach for my training in shamanism. So I was completely broken inside. And, it's like everything in my life had turned around and suddenly everything, like nothing worked. Everything was so painful at that moment. And I realized that at that moment, I have broken one more layer of those walls that didn't allow my light to shine through. So that's why the song says, tribulations and trials break the walls from within. And once we surrender to that and we make that okay, life can be truly wonderful. So that's what this song speaks about. It was very close to my shamanic training because it was part of my getting broken in my training so that I can be more humble, more down to earth, all those things.
And who is the artist?
Oh, that's me. Oh, yeah, so I received that song from Spirit and I decided to record it. And this version, there are two versions. This is actually a 432 hertz, which it is said that is more in alignment with all the sacred geometry and the truth of the universe. Yes.
Excellent. We're going to have to make a list of things to get back to because we have a whole bank of phone lines lit up for you. We're going to talk about Kundalini Opening. I didn't forget about that. We're going to talk about what music means to you. But first, we are going to talk with Betty, who's calling in from Joshua Tree. Betty, welcome to Inner Journey.
Hi there. Hi, Victoria.
Hey, Betty, how are you?
Good. I am by the campfire right now.
Oh, my goodness, I'm so jealous.
You hear Mateo yelled he loves you. We love you.
Oh, I love you so much. I'm so happy to hear your voice.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that you may know each other.
Just a little bit.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
So tell us how you know Victoria, if you would, Betty.
I met Victoria with a group of friends, a group of healers, and we all did Reiki, but one of them said, hey, I've met this lady, and let's go. She's doing a shamanic drum circle. Let's go. So I went, and from the moment I met her and her energy, I'm like, okay, she is passionate, she is authentic, and I'm like, this is it. I need to take more classes with her. I need to get to know her, and that was it. And I've known her ever since.
And have you taken any trainings with her?
Oh, yes. I've done, let's see, Reiki, shamanism, crystal healing, EFT.
Tell us about one, if you
more.
would, Betty.
I would have to say, gosh, they're all pretty amazing, especially from Victoria. But the EFT, I think, was probably my most recent training with her.
So, first
really
of all, take the initials down, if you would, for our listening audience. EFT stands... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right, sorry. Emotional freedom technique.
And what is that exactly? Or what did you do? How did that transpire when you were studying with Victoria?
So it's something that I had already had I've had an interest in, and when I knew Victoria was offering, I'm like, okay, even better. But essentially, what it is, so it's tapping on different acupressure points within your body. So it kind of works with like the Chinese meridians on clearing out energy, but through tapping, and there's certain specific areas that you do that. But you also incorporate affirmations, and so the sessions can be quite long because it's the way Victoria teaches it. It's great because you really sit down and you really talk things out with the person, and it's not just about affirmations. It's about at a certain point you write affirmations that you're actually using whoever you're working with, keywords on things that are actually going to really trigger them from clearing stuff. It's really powerful stuff. And I had, in my training, it was just really, really powerful.
And I have to say, Betty, your dedication to healing and to improve yourself and your gift as a healer is really something that I admire and I appreciate so much. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you for offering and being just, so authentic and just, real.
Oh.
So appreciate that.
Betty, that's so sweet of you to call into Inner Journey. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Betty.
Thank you.
So I think we have time for one more caller before the top of the hour. You open for it?
Oh, whatever, yes. I'm excited to talk with more friends.
We have Rebecca calling in from North Hollywood. Rebecca, welcome to Inner Journey.
Hi.
Hey, Rebecca! Oh, my goodness, I'm so excited.
Oh, I love you so much.
I
Thank
love
you
you
for
too.
letting me know about this.
Oh, my goodness, thank you for calling.
So it's too bad you don't generate any enthusiasm from people. Okay, so how do the two of you know each other?
Well, I recently completed Victoria's apprenticeship, so I've taken almost all of the classes that Victoria offers, and a few more on top of that. I took the Emotional Freedom Technique Mastery course with Betty, and I've also taken an extra class in Reiki Mastery as well, on top of the typical Tibetan Reiki. Yeah. So.
And was there one thing that really particularly resonated with you?
Well, I really loved all of the classes, but part of the apprenticeship, we spent a year together, and each month we spent the whole month acquainting ourselves with the specific energy of different chakras. And my journey to Victoria was right after sort of like a preliminary awakening to my own spiritual potential. And I really got I started by getting my feet wet with her, and then I just got the full dunk.
Wait, I love that expression. I may steal that. I got started
awesome,
with getting my
do.
feet wet, and then I went for the full dunk.
Yeah, I mean, it was all divine, and it was a combination of who Victoria is, and how determined I was to really achieve something great, and I had a Kundalini Awakening during our apprenticeship, and it was just unlike any experience I've ever had in my entire life, and I know that was out of what you said earlier, the space of integrity that Victoria really truly is, and I just feel like you hit the nail on the head with that. She really does embody that. And, she just brings so much aliveness. I was suffering from major depression, and I completely healed from that during my time with her. And so, yeah, I mean, a tremendous human being. I don't know if I've really ever truly acknowledged you for that, Victoria, but I love you. You have given me so much out of who your being and out of your own commitment, it's so obvious. You're such a powerful leader.
Oh, Rebecca, and I so appreciate you from the first time you contact me, your commitment to really go through the whole year. I mean, you had it so clear that is so powerful, and you completed it really, really outstandingly. And you continue. That's what I love about you. You are doing the leadership program on your own now, and you're going to go for yoga. So you are really becoming this powerful force that is going to transform the world, and I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, Rebecca, before we get rid of you, before we let you go, you have mentioned Kundalini Opening, and so did Victoria. So, Victoria, as long as she's here, explain what your opening was like, and maybe we'll have Rebecca speak a little bit about it as well.
I know and I trust that Rebecca had a wonderful experience, and I'm very happy for that. My experience was not good. Let's say that suddenly when I allowed that force, that energy, that is normally coiled up at the base of the spine, and suddenly it exploded and reached the top, the crown of my head, the crown chakra. I wasn't ready. My chakras weren't cleansed. My energetic field wasn't ready. My mind wasn't ready. My emotions weren't ready. So it was a disaster in my case. It was one of the worst times in my life. Everybody thought I had a psychotic episode, and I thought that too. So in my case, wasn't a beautiful experience.
Why do you say that, though? I mean that seriously.
Yes.
It's because it's not pretty doesn't mean it's not beautiful.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. I mean, I'm happy of what happened, and this is part of what helped me teaching as well, and knowing how can it be when you don't have guidance. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy for that, and I was able to help some people that had similar situations. I wouldn't take anything away from what I experienced. I'm just saying it wasn't the most enjoyable episode in my life.
Trust me, I understand that one really personally. Yeah. I have had my booty kicked a number of times. I understand it perfectly. And for you, Rebecca, was yours lovely and sweet?
Well, I don't know if I would say lovely and sweet. Thanks to Victoria and, the path that she, with all of that integrity really thoroughly prepared me for that. I knew the energy of each chakra. I knew a lot of transformational knowledge at that point. And so when the experience hit me, I kind of, at least my mind and my spirit were ready for it. My body wasn't. I had the experience of all the chakras lighting up and feeling my heart open and feeling at one with everything. And, just this incredible sense of what a human being is truly capable of.
Beautiful.
And really so it was enlightening. I mean, really, it was an incredible experience, but there were certainly parts of it that were not comfortable. I mean, I was shaking constantly for 2 weeks. I wasn't sleep. Well, my body would sleep, but I wouldn't. I was able to go in and out of my dreams and out into the room, and it didn't your body can rest and your mind rests too normally when you sleep, but my mind wasn't resting. And I couldn't eat certain foods, and so there are aspects of it that were really joyful and whoa, really, I'm capable of this. This is a human experience that I can have normally. and then there was the other side of it. Was when is this going to stop?
And are you glad you went through it?
Yeah. I really. It changed my life. It changed the direction of my life. In that space, I realized this realization is something that everyone can have. I'm no different from anyone else.
Excellent.
And all there is for me is to share it, and to become a leader who can actually, bring that transformation to everyone, because it's just something that everyone can have. Yeah. And it's amazing.
What
Powerful.
A great message, and what a treat. And thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you so
for the
much,
opportunity.
Rebecca. I love you.
I love you, Victoria.
Absolutely. So,
bye-bye.
Bye.
Victoria, if they want to find more about your teachings or they want to find out more about you, how would they go about doing that?
Okay, for my classes, the best is ReikiWellbeing.org. And for me...
Whoa, slow word.
Oh my goodness, I get excited.
Okay. ReikiWellbeing.org. And Reiki is spelled R-E-I-K-I. Is that correct?
Yes, and also I have a course online that people can take all around the world. So even if they are not in California, they can go to crystalhealer.org.
Crystalhealer.org.
And oh my goodness, the crystal healing course is really life-changing.
Very cool. We're going to stick around for the next hour. We've already blown through an hour. And you'll tell us more about what that course is like and what that's about. And we still have a whole bunch of phone calls to get to. You up for that?
Sure, I'm excited.
I am here tonight with Victoria Vivas on Inner Journey with Greg Friedman, and we are having a blast, and thank you for joining us, and we'll be back with more Inner Journey right after this. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. We truly, truly appreciate your support. You can also catch us on @1laguna.com and co-creatorradionetwork.com, where we are thrilled to be on 7 days a week. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it. If you want to find out more about life coaching or you have questions, go to gregfriedman.com. And if you want to check us out on Facebook and give us a like, we really appreciate that too. We have lots of cool things there for you. Interesting, enlightening, intriguing, fun. It's Inner Journey with Greg Friedman there as well. Tonight, we are here with just a stunning, exuberant, intense, energetic, happy being of light. We are here with Victoria Vivas. Victoria, welcome back to Inner Journey.
Thank you so much. I'm going to come every day.
Oh, don't threaten that, because I'll invite you. So for those people that are just tuning in or didn't hear in the last hour, list some of the things that you do to contribute to this world and that are your passion, if you would, please.
Well, I just love any opportunity to connect with other people, and one of my passions is to teach energy healing. I also love to share music. I also love to share my radio show, my videos, anything that I can do to inspire and empower others.
So you teach Reiki.
Yes.
You teach crystal healing.
Yes.
You teach EFT.
Yes.
What else? I know I missed things.
Sound healing.
Sound healing.
Yes, and within Reiki, I teach 3 different styles. So I teach the one that is called Western style, which is Usui Reiki, and I also teach Reiki Ryoho, and I teach Karuna Reiki. So I like to really explore things in depth. I also teach shamanism, chakra cleansing classes, so different things, psychic development, anything that I can to really look beyond the physical.
And we have a whole bunch of callers, but I'm really battling with them because I want you all to myself. There's something that you talked about before, and I just would like you to speak about briefly before we get to our callers. I saw one of your videos, and you studied a lot of martial arts, different kinds of martial arts, including Jeet Kune Do. Is that correct?
Jeet Kune Do, yeah.
And there was a video I saw of yours, and it was so illustrative because you were so vulnerable and you were so much in your strength. You were able to very vividly say, hey, look, see what happened? I just gave away my power. Can you tell us, the listening audience, what I'm talking about, please?
Yes, if I'm understanding correctly, this is a training that I was doing with 3 friends. And we were doing things that require very much physical strength. But that's the thing, that is not just physical strength. It is inner strength as well, that empowerment from within. So I was able to have myself laying down on the floor and have 2 men on top of me and being able to push up and throw them off my back.
Yeah, these guys combined weighed almost 400 pounds. Is that right?
I think it was like 340, something like that. I'm not exactly sure, something like that. So I was able to do that because I was excited and I was in my power and yes, I'm going to do it, you know? So that's not just my physical muscles, but instead my inner strength, my inner empowerment, my inner knowing. So after that, they said, okay, let's do it again. And my husband was recording the video, and he said, now I'm going to jump in too. That means that it's not going to be just this 300 something, but it's going to be, I don't know how much. They are going to crush me. Oh my goodness, I'm so afraid. I cannot do it anymore. I got so stressed and so fearful that I wasn't able, even though he didn't jump in, I wasn't able to do the same.
You weren't able to lift the same 2 men.
Exactly.
Because you gave away your power to fear.
Right.
And you've talked about how fear is such a force in this world and how it's a choice. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, you know, I feel that we are infinite beings. We are divine beings. We can reach the fullness of who we are. However, we are trained into only expressing and living in our perspective of survival and fear. That's how I feel. That's my personal opinion. I feel that our environment keep us in that need of, oh, I have to make this enough money to survive. I have to find food. Like we are always in that fear-based mentality, instead to explore all the amazing things in this awesome earth, this awesome world, all that we can contribute to others, all that we can enjoy with others. So I feel that for some reason we are in that frequency. It's like having so many television channels but always focusing in the same one. So I feel that trains us a little bit to stay in fear. And instead to get excited about something, for example, when I came here, I came and I just didn't know English. I didn't know how to drive. I at some point I had $14 in my pocket and that's all I had. But if I look at the facts and I give in to fear, I'm not going to stay here, obviously. However, if we change that fear into how excited I'm about this opportunity, I'm going to explore this adventure. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I can feel the excitement in my heart. So that is when we open to other frequencies, other television channels, instead to be trapped in that low frequency. That is important. I'm not denying it. I think all of our frequencies are important because it's part of our whole. But I feel we cannot give all that power to that.
And sometimes, just like you did with the video that we were talking about, fear can be a tool to learn what true strength really is, and not a false idea of strength. And therefore, it's not a shadowy energy that's icky and bad and scary that needs to be beaten. It's something that's here to serve us and here to help us.
Yeah.
And when we walk from that position where we really understand every single thing in this universe is a gift that's here as an opportunity for us, and what we do with it is our choice, then go ahead, you say.
No, that reminds me, I feel that always the path of the middle is the place where we can be the neutrality of the balance, So for example, I feel fear has its place in the sense that I love animals, but still I feel I have to have a respect for the power of an animal. So it's not like I'm going to get crazy. Oh, look, a bear. I'm going to hug the bear. I cannot get into that. I have to keep, okay, I love the bear, but I respect the power of the bear. So I'm going to be the path of the middle. I'm going to get maybe close, but always with respect and awareness of the power of the bear.
That's such a huge word in my life, and I love that you brought it up on your own. Respect. Because respect for ourselves and respect for others is really recognizing who they are and acting accordingly and appropriately.
Yes, I agree.
I love that. How do you feel about, again, the phone lines are lit up? Let's jump on in.
Yeah.
We have Julie calling in from Pasadena.
Oh, beautiful.
Julie, welcome to Inner Journey.
Namaste, Greg. Namaste, Victoria.
Julie, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you.
Goodness.
I am wonderful, and I just have to say that I'm just enjoying this show so much.
So am I. I got to tell you, I'm having a blast.
Well, I'm a little jealous that I'm not there to join in too, but it's been great.
Oh my goodness, Julie is a gifted healer, a wonderful person. Yes.
So, Julie, how do the two of you know each other?
Oh my gosh. Well, my journey started with Victoria just about 2.5 years ago, where I was going through a lot of personal changes in my life and trying to pull my way out of darkness. And like Victoria, I worked in the entertainment industry for many years, and I knew from the time that I opened my eyes for the first time and took my first step and to learn how to speak that I had a gift as a healer. And it wasn't until I went through my life changes and finding Victoria that she helped me open up all of these channels that had just been dormant and suppressed in me for far too long. And it has opened up so many different arenas in my personal life and the lives that I touch today. And I have her to thank for that. And this journey has continued for me in such a profound way. And I've taken many courses with Victoria, where I'm a Reiki master teacher and a crystal energy healer and the shamanic journeying, and you name it. I've taken that course, even EFT. And I wanted to share with Victoria, and also had a question for her, is that she had a crystal energy and Reiki share last week. And during my Reiki session, I saw my power animal, which was a black panther.
Beautiful.
And reading upon what this meant, I was just like, my God, I am this person. And everything that I've experienced since the first time that I walked into her center changed my life. And experiencing a close-to-death experience and being in touch with my higher self and learning to trust that, I have to thank her for that, because without that knowledge and that gift that she has, then I wouldn't be here today. And it's a true testament to me that each person that's called in that personally knows Victoria, I must say I agree with them godzillion times. You know, because she's not just a beautiful soul, but she's a human being, and her truth and her healing comes from her personal experiences. So it comes from a deeper, authentic place. And I hope that anyone listening goes to her website and learns more about her. And I hope that their frequency channels are opened to all dimensions. And she's just a loving soul. And thank you. So you bringing me to my true calling and having my power animal as a black panther, blessings to you.
Oh, Julie, thank you.
You are, you know, if angels walked on earth, Victoria, you're one of them. So,
you know,
thank
and I'm so grateful to have met you. I don't know if you guys realize how special is my relationship with each of you, and you know the relationship you and I have. So for me, it's such a blessing to have crossed paths and share things, you know. And now I even go to your sessions, because I have to say, Julie actually gives an amazing facial treatment with crystals and all of that. So I'm totally addicted to it. So
Yes.
It's my honor to have had you in my classes, and you know we are sisters. So thank you so much.
And Julie, you
are-
said you had a question as well?
yes, Victoria, speaking upon spirit animals,
Yes.
what is your knowledge and what is your take on the spirit animal of a black panther?
Well, for me, from my perspective, I always encourage people to talk with your power animal and see why that power animal is with you. Like, for example, let's say that I find an elephant as my power animal. So for me, it may represent family, but for someone else, may represent stability. So that's why I really encourage people to get together with their power animals, create a friendship with them, get to know them as you meet anybody in physical life, and see exactly why that power animal is in your life. I recommend that much more than looking in a book and saying, okay, this is the meaning. Because power animals are as whole as we are. So if I would say, okay, Julie means happiness, I'm really missing out all the rest beautiful things that you are. So maybe you come into my life to give me something that is not that happiness, maybe it's something else. So that's why I don't like to put a tag to the power animals, but everybody asks about that. So thank you so much for asking that.
Julie, and I'm going to jump in here 1 second. You just made me so incredibly happy. It's so few people do exactly what you just did, and I want to illustrate what you did. My work is very much about taking somebody into the dark room of their choosing, helping them find the light switch and having them turn it on, and what they do with that light is up to them. You, in essence, just said that. You just said, I'm not going to tell you that because that would be my take and my power and my vision. And by saying what you said to Julian exactly the way you did, it's such a saying, I trust you to be empowered. I recognize your power, and you go live in your own power for yourself. It's a gorgeous, beautiful thing that you did that is so rare. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I know so much, Julie and anyone that really wants to look within, they have their real answers. I don't want to get into that for sure.
Absolutely. And along those same lines, Julie, you said something earlier that this really reflects beautifully on as well. You said that Victoria has a deeper authenticity. And the truth is authentic. Your authentic is no greater and no lesser.
Right.
And you are as powerful in your own expression as she is, as I am, as my production coordinator, Danny, is, everybody here. It's authentic is the essence of who we are, and that's living in your Dharmic stream, and that's gorgeous.
It is. It's a beautiful place to be.
Thank you. The calls that you are getting tonight, Victoria, are so phenomenal, and it's just a reflection of how phenomenal you are.
Thank you.
Julie, thank you very, very much for calling in.
Thank
you,
you,
Julie.
Thank you.
I
Have a
love
wonderful
you.
evening, and I can't wait to finish listening to the show. Blessings to you.
Hugs. Bye.
We are going to jump right into another caller, if that's okay with you.
Sure, of course.
We have Jeanette calling in. Jeanette, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Los Angeles, California.
Well, Jeanette, welcome to Inner Journey. Thank you very much.
Hi, Victoria.
Hey, Jeanette! Oh my goodness, sorry.
I thought I wasn't going to be able to get in. The phone just kept beeping and beeping. It was so
Oh my
busy,
goodness.
but I'm like, no.
She's very popular. What can we say?
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
So, Jeanette, you have a question for Victoria this evening?
Yes. Actually, Victoria, I would like to know if you can share with us more about your journey with our star brothers and sisters.
Oh my goodness.
And also, if you could please share what you feel the mission on this planet is at this current moment.
My mission or our mission?
Well, our mission, or
Okay.
the mission, I should say.
Okay. So,
I like this nice, subtle, light question.
okay, well, I have to say, Janet is one of my, she and I really connect with all the idea of extraterrestrial life, star energy. So,
I'm not being diminutive. What she just said was extraterrestrial life. I'm just translating a little bit.
Okay. So the first question was my experience with a star energy or with the star brothers and sisters?
If you could share your journey, just your journey with our brothers and our star brothers and sisters. So how you came about, like how was your awareness?
Okay,
What
well,
was it?
I love this theme. And since I was small, there were two things that obsessed me, and one was extraterrestrials and dinosaurs. So I have so many paintings, drawings. I would, use the Lego to create spaceships. I would turn my sofa into a spaceship. That was the only thing I would care about. Spaceships, extraterrestrials, being an astronaut, and then the dinosaurs in the other extreme for some reason. So that is how I always been very, very passionate about those themes, and I always dreamt that one day it would be like a Star Wars, that you can get into a bar and see people from everywhere around the universe. So I had that passion. However, I feel that I disconnected from that because I didn't want to have a false illusion. So for many years, I just gave up that idea. And in my awakening, in my Kundalini awakening, I had several experiences in which I was taken to different dimensions. Sometimes it was beautiful, sometimes it wasn't that beautiful. So it was a very scary time for me because I had no idea what was happening. I didn't have total awareness of what was happening. I was very lost in that, in those dimensions. So I didn't have full view as I have in this physical world. I just had an awareness that something was there, that I was taken somewhere, but I wasn't sure. So that was kind of scary. However, there was one day that I was, at that time, because of the stress of going out of body and being taken to other dimensions, sometimes I wouldn't even sleep. I was getting so skinny. I was really, I was afraid to fall asleep because during dream time, things would happen as well. And that's how I learned a little bit about lucid dreaming, because I had to wake up myself in order to not be taken to certain places. So one day, finally, I fell asleep without wanting, and I saw the sun coming through my window as a being of light. This sun didn't scare me, this being didn't scare me, it just entered the room and touched my feet. And that's all I needed to really release all the stress and all the fear that I had at that moment. I was later told that this was a being from Lyra, or Lyra, as some people say, from the 11th dimension. I cannot say that that is the case, but that's what I was told, that it was a being from Lyra, from the 11th dimension, where I'm, a big part of me is. So that was that experience. Then a lot of time passed after that. Nothing else happened about that. And then recently, last year, I started realizing that I had been, a little gullible. Is that a word? Mm-hmm. Gullible. So I was being a little gullible, believing that, I have to forget about extraterrestrials just because it's a subject that many people laugh about, that many people don't want to open to, because I feel that we are scared of it because we know that it's a reality, but we don't know how to deal with it. So little by little, I said, I know that we have star brothers and sisters. They are there. We are limited to this frequency, to this channel, but there is so much more, and I really want to bring that through. I really want to start bringing awareness about this. I really would like disclosure in our earth. I really would like to be able to live learning from these amazing beings all around the universe as an intergalactic society, as a family. We are, all our relationships are important. Our relationships with the plant people, animal people, star people is also a very important relationship, and I would like for us to enjoy that. So I had some experiences in which, as you know some of them, come on. I connected with energies from Sirius and from Orion. So these are very different energies. Orion is the part I connected with is the part that is more of a warrior energy. A warrior energy that sometimes can be a little negative and a little dark. And this is all the energy that I was through when I was getting with all these negative people. But it is a big part also who I am. I just need to put it in balance because it gives me strength, it gives me power, it gives me my warrior aspect. So when I'm able to combine that with the energy of Sirius, that is more related with the ocean, the peacemakers, the blue light, the white blue star, and bring that healing and combine both, becoming that center point of balance between both, that is kind of my job in this lifetime, to really balance those two. And I feel that is your job too, because you have even a more extreme background that I do. So I feel that you also are balancing those energies. You have experienced very extreme things, and at the same time you have this love and this light. So if you are able to, within yourself, put those together in harmony, that is the healing that you can bring to the universe. So that's what I feel that is our role with our brothers and sisters of the universe.
Jeanette,
Beautiful.
what a phenomenal question. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you,
Thank
Janet.
you.
I love you.
I love you, Victoria.
I love you. Mwah.
You know, it's too bad you don't really develop any affection in people. Once again, if people want to get a hold of you for any of this stuff or just find out more about you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, for healing, for sure, ReikiWellbeing.org or CrystalHealer.org.
Slow
Oh my goodness,
down and
I'm
do
an
it.
excited one. I want to say it all right now.
One more time, please.
ReikiWellbeing.org and CrystalHealer.org. How was that?
Perfect.
Thank
and
you.
we'll be back with more Victoria Vivas and Inner Journey with Greg Friedman right after this.
We're still growing up, thinking that we are separated, but we are one. We're still growing up, thinking that we stand on our own, but we are one. Loneliness, thinking that we cannot connect, but...
Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. If you want to find out more about life coaching, go to gregfriedman.com. And if you would like to check us out on Facebook, it's Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Give us a like. We really appreciate it. Tonight, we are just having a blast hanging out, exploring concepts that are fairly within a small box for most people and some that are way, way out there. But it's all just a kick, and we're doing that with Victoria Vivas. Welcome back to Inner Journey, Victoria.
Thank you, Greg.
So we just heard a song. What was the name of that song?
Eternal Soul.
And can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Yes. Okay. So it's interesting that you chose that song now, because I was talking with Janet about this warrior energy, which is my energy from Orion. So this song actually
Do you know the physical movement you just did when you said warrior energy?
What I did?
You did this. She moved her hand back and forth in a fist.
No, I didn't. Okay. Well, so this song represents that warrior aspect, but when we can use that power in a way that serves all of life. So that means, for me, this song, in part, it was inspired in a very aggressive movie, which was 300. I have part of that warrior energy that is very aggressive, but is also very powerful. So if we are able to use that power in a way that we are going to serve all of life, that we are going to serve the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, our brothers and sisters, everyone, then that is where I feel that we can make a difference. It is not about being only love and being powerless. It is about to be able to harness that power and turn it into something that is going to help the world.
Well, and to me, that's the true transition of a warrior, because every warrior eventually, if they continue to grow, turns into either the warrior priest or the warrior priestess.
Right.
And then that way they understand that strength, that power is used always to be of service.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. So this song represents that refined version of a warrior that you are referring to. And it talks about interconnectedness, how we all are one. So for me, it's very special because it means that we are all interconnected, and it's one of the big things that we are becoming more aware of, how we can affect those around us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if they want to find out, if our listeners want to find out more about your music or just more about you in general, not necessarily the Reiki or the crystal healing, how would they go about doing that?
Very easy. VictoriaVivas.com.
VictoriaVivas.com. Spell that, please.
Yes. VICTORIA VIVAS.com. KundaliniES.com.
Thank you very much. How do you feel about jumping in? We have another caller for you.
Let's do it.
We have Susanna calling in from Highland Park. Welcome to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman, Susanna.
Hello, how are you?
Susanna,
Hi,
I didn't
Victoria.
talk with you forever. Oh, my goodness. How are you?
Good, thank you. Greg, I just want to say, Victoria has truly been a blessing in my life.
That is not hard to understand. It's very, very evident in just spending a little bit of time with her.
Yes, absolutely. I've known her for 3 years, and I've been to most of all of her workshops that she has, and she's truly amazing. I mean, I've never ever met a person that truly cares about healing people and caring about people, and yes, so she's been a wonderful blessing into my life and my family as well.
And is there one particular training that you did that really resonated with you, really stuck out for you?
Yes, I did with Victoria a 3-month chakra healing session, and it was a one-on-one session that I worked with her for 3 months, and she really helped me get out of the black hole that I was in. And it's like tears coming down my eyes, but it's just amazing. It's how she truly helped me one-on-one. It was a lot of the Reiki healing, crystal healing, meditation, working with my power animals, contacting me every day. So, yeah, it's...
and how does that show up in your life today, now that you're not working with her right now? What could you see the difference in you as a result of having worked with Victoria?
Oh, my gosh. I could truly see a difference in how I react to certain situations where things don't bother me or get to me as they did before, where I could just let it go. Just Victoria just taught me one of many tools to use, and one was, just imagine beautiful green roots coming down from your feet, and you just let go of all of that energy. And I always use that tool, and it's just amazing. It's something simple that anybody could use.
And Susanna, I really appreciate that you took it to heart to really, really do all the work, because, coming to see me, I cannot do it for you, right? I just can tell you, okay, use this, use that. But really the work, the hard work, you did it on your own at home. And that is what really has value. So you did it really, really consistently. And I really appreciate that you did that. I, as a healer, I really love to have people that is committed to their healing. That is really fulfilling. And I really appreciate that you have done that.
Susanna,
absolutely, yes.
Such an honor. Thank you very much for calling into Inner Journey.
You're welcome, and love and light to both of you.
I love you. Thank you so much for calling.
I love you too. Bye-bye.
Say hi to your family. I didn't see them in so long. Bye.
Yes, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Again, you generate so much love and so much appreciation, and it's not for you, even though it is towards you. It's for what you help them recognize within themselves, and that's stunningly beautiful. And one of the things that I've seen connected either through your music or all these people that adore you is this phrase that I heard from you that I absolutely flipped over, and I want you to tell us a little bit more about it. The phrase is intentional community.
Yes, intentional community. Oh my goodness, how special. Okay. So, I grew up as my parents' only child. In fact, actually, I didn't even have my dad with me. We were all women in my house. But I grew up kind of disconnected from my environment, very disconnected. And I feel that one of the biggest things that we can do for our healing, either for ourselves or our communities or our world, our planet, is to come back to that interconnectedness. I feel that sometimes in our daily lives, we don't have the space to create those relationships that are what keep us grounded, what keep us happy. And sometimes, we may have the experience that we get up alone, we go to work alone, we are working alone, we come back to home alone, and that is not who we are. We really need those communities, those relationships. So when I started teaching and giving sessions in healing, I realized of the big difference that was from being in entertainment, that many times I was alone going to auditions and things like that. And from there, starting creating a community, people that was like-minded, that share something. So that created such a sense of an expanded family that, the relationships that I have with all these beautiful people really brings a foundation to who I am right now and to my life. So the thing is, I'm married, I'm very happy to be with my husband, but still it feels like isolated. It feels like I would like to have that expanded community, that expanded family all the time. Mm-hmm. So if we were able to live in a kind of village setting, having people, maybe imagine 20 people, 100 people that that you see them. And it's not necessarily that we have to be always together, I feel that it's good to have a balance between intimacy and community, but have that possibility that you have somebody that you trust, that that you are working spiritually together so you can grow together, that if you need something today, you have someone. Alone, we cannot accomplish that much. Together, we can accomplish anything. So I feel that we need to get back into that idea of the intentional community, creating these villages in which we work together.
I was outside of Durango, Colorado, and I went to a community that's very, very similar to what you're describing. The homes are all built in a circle, and there's a main meeting room where everybody gets their mail, and there's classes that everybody goes to, and it's a very, very intentional community. Now, how do you suggest that we do that in an urban environment here?
Right. So what my husband and I are doing is selling our home, which I love. I never had a house, and finally I have one, and I'm going to sell it so that I can buy with him a piece of land. In that piece of land, we will be able to welcome more people that want to have a place to build their own place to live. So the idea is that each person will have their own space, and then we will have common spaces.
Exactly.
Yes, so that's what we are looking forward to do. And in that way, together we can create anything, we can be together. It may be not necessarily in the center of Los Angeles, because obviously we don't have that kind of space, but we can go maybe an hour from Hollywood. That's more or less what I'm thinking, so that we can have nature, we can have wild foods that grow naturally without the need of working on the earth, but instead working with the earth, tending the land, so that what naturally grows in the earth can naturally also feed us. It doesn't mean that we're not going to use other things such as permaculture, but basically it's the idea of exploring a way in which we can bring balance between living on our own and living in an expanded family, and also the balance between connecting with the earth and living more primitively, and still combining that with technology and all the advancements that we use nowadays.
Perfect. How do you feel about, because we also had a whole bunch of email questions and we haven't gotten to them.
Sweet.
So how about if we at least try to pop one in? Is that all right with you?
Of course.
And we have Danny on air, who's our production coordinator.
Hi, Danny.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Danny.
Thank you. This is so awesome. So, yeah, we have a question from Nancy, who's really excited about having you on. She saw one of the things we promoted was the idea of the secrets to achieving anything you want, and that got her really excited. So, what she's saying, she wants to hear some of those secrets, and what she finds is she learns a lot of things, but she's saying that what she has a problem with is staying motivated and having energy once her day is done. You know, how can she really, what is a secret or two that she can start using to really make things happen that are different for her?
Okay, so let's start with the first thing. The first thing, the first thing is how to accomplish anything. Is that the
right?
Okay, so I feel that one of the things that got me to accomplish anything, even when everybody told me this is impossible, which I had so many things that people told me this is impossible, is to believe. Always when we are children, we remember everything is possible. As we grow up, we get trained to believe that maybe not. So just come back to that inner space, your inner child, and know that everything is possible. And persevere. Really go for it. Maybe the first time doesn't work. You know, in 2000, I tried to come to live in Los Angeles. I failed. It doesn't matter. I tried again in 2004, and here I am, 10 years after. So sometimes you can just make sure it is not a failure, it's just a test, and then you change a little bit and persevere so you will reach whatever you want.
I'm going to jump in because I don't think it's a test. It's part of learning and it's part of growing. It's an opportunity.
Right.
There's a post I put up not that long ago that said the difference between a master and the beginner is that the master has failed more than the beginners even tried.
Nice.
It's just part of the process.
Yes. I guess maybe I didn't express good. Like test, I mean, like, okay, like testing. Well, anyway.
So what I heard you infer just now is sort of like trying out, sort of like experiment.
Exactly. Experiment, like saying, okay, let's see if this works. Oh, it didn't work? Okay, I try in a different way.
Perfect.
So just,
absolutely. And Danny, what was the second part of that?
So the second part was that she finds that she's having a hard time staying motivated or finding the energy. So she has the information, but can't seem to have the energy and motivation to put it into action.
Okay, so motivated sometimes is not the same that being excited, in the sense that motivation sometimes is used for things that we don't really want to do, but we're trying to do. So I think it is important to see what are the things that your heart truly desires and put your energy towards that. So each day, when we have that desire, that excitement, each day you can take a little step. We don't need to take 10 steps at a time, but we can take just a tiny little step, and tiny little steps can get us anywhere. So I recommend that. Don't get overwhelmed. Be kind on yourself, and just step by step.
I agree with that entirely. The illustration I give is I'll hold a grain of sand, and then I say, picture a beach, picture the Sahara Desert. It took these grains of sand to create that. And it's also like going to the gym. It's like you're not going to go lift 500 pounds the first day you're at the gym. You're going to build up your muscle and build up your strength, and that's what builds up your ability to incorporate all these wonderful things. And Victoria, your websites again are?
VictoriaVives.com. That's VICTORA.
VIVES.
Thank you.
.com. And the other two are?
ReikiWellbeing.org and CrystalHealer.org.
And we will be back with more Inner Journey with Greg Friedman and Victoria Vivas right after this short break.
Divine sacred goddess that lies within, awaken my wisdom, awaken my gifts. May all of your blessings, let's hold hands and dance, and let's celebrate to our divine mother. Together we pray.
And welcome back. You're listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. And sadly, we are coming to the end of our time with Victoria Vivas, a very, very just a terrific guest. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence this evening.
I'm so happy to be here.
So we have a listener that's been with us from the very, very beginning. And her name is Priscilla. And Priscilla recently had somebody that passed away that was very important to her. And I let her know that I'm sorry for her personal loss, but I'm also really happy for the time they had together. But for me, death is such an illusion because we're just molecules, and molecules don't die. They just transform into different energy forms. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, we are certainly as eternal beings, and also we are holographic in a sense, meaning that that part of that person that passed away is still within us and we can still connect with it. So I feel that, of course, you know, we really enjoy having that person in front of us, being able to touch them, to talk with them, to really feel their presence in this physical form. However, to open our awareness and our even ideas to embrace the reality that they never left. They have always been here with us. That would be something that can bring healing and can let you know that you're never alone, that you are always keeping those relationships. Those relationships are eternal. I had, thank God, not so many experiences about people passing away, but I did have one of my cats when I was small that I cried so much because passed away. And throughout the years, I just always thought, well, it's gone. What I discovered in my shamanic training is that I could fully connect with that soul, that aspect of life that was that cat. The same happened actually with one of my boyfriends, my first boyfriend actually. He passed away, and also in my shamanic training, I was able to reconnect with his essence and realize that he was always existent. So nothing never disappears. Everything is always present. Everything is always eternal. It's just a different dimension, and sometimes we are not able to see it.
Victoria, it has been so incredible having you here. What a gift for us in studio. I hope for you guys listening, and I hope you enjoyed yourself as well.
This is such a pleasure to be here. I'm so grateful and honored. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, you are absolutely a gift. Thank you. Also, if you've got more questions and we weren't able to get to you, please write us an email at greg@gregfriedman.com. And check out and like our Facebook page. It's Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. As always, I'm incredibly fortunate to have Danny on air as our production coordinator. Danny is not only our production coordinator, but he's also an author in his own right. He has written a fantastic book called 7 Years in 7 Days, A Life of Now. Little poignant pearls that you could take with you and apply in so many different ways at so many different times throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your life. It's fantastic. Go check him out. He's on Facebook. It's Danny Donaire, and Donaire is spelled Donayre. I can't begin to thank all of you enough. As I've said innumerable times, this show does not exist without you, the listening audience. For that and so much more, I am hugely grateful. You've been listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Good night.